A leading animal communication specialist in the UK, best-selling author and TEDx speaker. She helps people deepen their connection with animals and the natural world through her books, courses, and retreats around the world. She invites us to listen with the heart, to hear the voices of animals, and to remember our place within the sacred web of life. It is my great pleasure to welcome a remarkable woman, Pea Horsley, to Whispers of the Soul. Welcome, Pea.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Delightful to be here.
Pea, today, as we are recording this conversation, it is World Lion Day. I couldn't help but notice that we both share a great love for this iconic species. Do you remember your first encounter with lions?
I do, because how could you forget?
Yeah. Could you share how it was, what you felt, what they taught you, anything?
Yeah, so the first encounter was with a white lion. I was actually a student of my teacher, Amelia Kincaid, and we were in a communication practice. And what I saw with my mind's eye, you know, those pictures that we see when our eyes are closed, but we see them very vividly, was a lioness lying down. And she was not tawny, she was white. And then Amelia asked, you know, has anybody seen any animals? Is there anything to share? And I put my hand up and said, I've seen a white lion, a lioness on her own. And then Amelia, you know, she pulled me up to the front. She showed me a picture, and it was a lioness with her cubs. And she said, well, which one was it? And I said, well, it's this one. And she said, that's Mara. And Mara is the lioness that really started the White Lion Protection Trust, which I invite people to look it up. It's run by Linda Tucker, who is an incredible woman. And these are star lions. And so if you really want to know about white lions, then check out the Global White Lion Protection Trust. There was no significant message from this lioness with me. It was really our first connection. It was like she was letting me know there are things that are going to be happening. We're going to have some work together, or there's a recognition. It was just a point of contact and connection, very briefly, but I saw her so clearly. And then the photograph that Amelia showed me, she was literally the same. She was lying in the same way and looking in the same direction. I'm like, yeah, I'm 100% sure this is her. Yeah, so that was the first lioness encounter. And then I've had some beautiful, beautiful moments with lions when I've been taking people and facilitating my wild animal communication retreats in countries around Africa. Most recently in Botswana. There was one time I took a group there, and there was a lioness with two young lions, and we were there in our Jeep, and she was walking and they were walking, and they were really relaxed, and we kept a respectful distance. And she turned around and she said, come with us. And I heard that obviously silently in my mind, but I hear the thought forms very clearly. That's one of my strongest pathways. So that's my strength. And come with us. And then she'd walk for a while. The boys would walk for a while. Then they'd lie down, have a little rest, and she'd get up. The boys would move off, and she'd turn around again and she'd say, come with us. And this went on for an hour. An hour, she kept saying, she'd turn around, she'd look, she'd say, come with us. And I asked her, where are you taking us? Because now it's, you know, this is so, so profound. And she said, I'm taking you home. And even now saying that, I've got these shivers that are going down the back of my head. And again, there was this recognition from her to me. And as I'm speaking with you right now, I have a lion right above me. I have a lioness right here on my wall. And there is something about me and my connection to lion energy and the way that they keep showing up in my life that is really, I think it's just really important for me as a professional animal communicator. They give me focus, you know, if I'm feeling a little bit distracted or unsure about my next step and how to be in service to the animal kingdom, I will look up to this lion and I'll say, how can I best serve you? And my membership is called the Pride for this very reason. It's about a pride of lions. It's about speaking your truth, about deep connection with animals and nature. It's about coming together in community. So as a pride of lions together, male and female, and with our cubs, the young ones, the people that are starting out and aren't experienced, you know, everyone is welcome. And so there's this constant thread for me of lions right from the start when I was still a student through to this day, you know, 20 years later, where they're very, very present with me. I've literally returned from Botswana again, and this time, as soon as we entered into Mareme, to where we were going to camp, there were two lionesses on the road ready to greet us. These are tawny lions, and they were ready to greet us. And the one she was so regal, and her sister was just to the side of her. And we had to stop and pay homage and, you know, reminding us, why are you here? You're here for deep connection. This is not a tourist trip. This is not a photography opportunity. You're here because of the energy and the exchange and the learning that you will receive if you just go quiet, remember to listen, drop down and connect truly. And everyone was so touched, you know, and everyone's so touched. And over the years, I've come to expect is not the right word, but, you know, I'm not so surprised anymore that these animals come and create these opportunities for encounters with them. And the next morning, the first animals we saw were two lions, and they were roaring, and they lay on the side of the road, and they were open to communication and just really embracing us. And on the last day, there was a huge pride of lions. So the incredibly majestic lion in charge of the pride, looking after the pride, and then the really strong lionesses team that go and do all the hard work and the hunting, and then the younger ones, you know, the younger males that were starting to get their mane, and then the cubs. And they just spent ages with us, and we communicated with them, and we all had different messages. And my message was, something big is coming. Don't be afraid. We are with you. And that message was repeated a number of times through lots of different species communicating with me. It was like, something's coming. Don't worry. Call on us. We are with you. I have no idea what that thing is yet. And I just have to go with the flow. That's how this works. But yeah, lions, they're the apex predator. We need them so much. One thing I would like to just highlight for those people that don't know about this is the canned hunting industry. If you're ever thinking of going to a so-called sanctuary where you can pet a lion, it's not ethical. You might not be aware yet that is really the first stepping stone to the canned hunting industry. And that's when these lions are bred and caught and kept in captivity and then so-called release, but they're still in an enclosed space, and then hunters come in and shoot them for sport as trophy hunting. But they're not wild animals. They don't have an opportunity to escape. They're often drugs. And so anytime you're able to pet, to stroke, to have your picture with a wild animal, just please, 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 please don't do it. It's so unethical. The animal will be suffering in some way, and most likely they will have like elephant riding. You know, they've suffered so much for that to happen. Canned hunting industry, lying down with tigers. You could just go on and on and on. It's not ethical. They're wild animals, and the only way to encounter them ethically is through a distance and with an ethical company that's not going to harass them.
It's not only the hunting industry; it's also the bones industry, where China buys those who are not suitable for the hunt. They usually go to China for the bones. So it's horrible industry. Any of these sanctuaries, they call them noblessly sanctuary, but in fact it's production of animals for.
It is a production of animals where animals are the losers. They're the ones that suffer. But the more we can talk about it, the more we can share it, so people become more and more aware. I do feel it will die out as an industry, as a business, but we just need to highlight it all of the time, and be careful that we don't get drawn into it, so we're not enabling it as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Just by the way, behind me there is Mara and Mandla.
Beautiful. Yeah.
Pictures.
Have you been to visit the White Lions?
Yes, I was there several times, and it's amazing. It's just to be in their presence with this. Oh, I have the shivers now. It's privilege. It's privilege to be with them.
Yeah.
Great privilege.
It is a great privilege.
But you mentioned your journey to Botswana, and I love your article where you write about the lesson that meeting change with openness rather than resistance. And it reminded me my first travel to White Lions, where almost nothing went according to original plan. And I believe anybody who travels in the wilderness knows that there are always lessons. From your own experience, what can the wilderness teach us about navigating everyday life? Because in my experience, it can be lessons to our everyday life.
Wow, that's a big question because there are so many answers. You know, it really depends which animal that you're with. Simply being in the wilderness with animals and observing them in silence is the starting point. And then you might see patterns in their behavior. You might see them engaging with you in a certain way or not. And then you start to notice, you know, have I got a huge desire here? Am I reaching? Am I wanting? Or am I being neutral and open and curious about this relationship? And then entering into that communication with them if they wish to, about what they wish to share. And sometimes some of them do, and sometimes some of them they don't, because of course they've got their own lives. But I find animals, non-human animals, let's be correct, are incredibly generous and are really keen to share what they know, because they've been on the planet way longer than we have as a species. They've learned to adapt in order to survive. They learn to coexist. They learn to manage lots of different seasons and lots of different challenges. And they often communicate, I found with my guests that come on these retreats, with people individually. You know, what have you got going on? And depending on what question we ask them. So, you know, being with dolphins, they definitely wish to engage people in play, because play is a really great way to open people up and to go into the higher frequency of 540 hertz, where it's much easier to communicate. And so dolphins will often instigate that first, you know, come and play with us. And of course they can swim away. They've got the whole ocean and it's their home. They can swim away at any time. But I found that when I was taking small groups to swim with dolphins, to snorkel with them, they would come in and sometimes they would surround a person. So you're just, you know, there's a dolphin in front, beside you, behind you, and you feel this, it's not a dolphin hug, but the frequency of their joy and their love holding you. They're incredibly healing because they are such highly conscious beings that they can, you know, they can do echolocation, they can sonar us, they can see exactly what we've got going on energetically, they know who we are. So it really depends on what an individual is bringing to that. The same with the bears, you know, and I've taken people to Canada to share time with wild grizzly bears. You know, the mothers will love to talk about, take care of your young, this is your most important job, you know, protect them with your life, love them until they're able to go on their own way, and just so incredibly maternal of them, reminding us of the importance to care for our human young people and the challenges that they are experiencing, and to love them through everything and protect them through everything until they are able to find their own way. Whales will do huge healing on us, because especially the humpback whales, the males, when they are toning, when they are singing their whale song, you feel it going through your whole body, reverberating through your body. And sometimes what will happen, you'll just be lying on the top of the water snorkeling and you're hearing them so loudly somewhere beneath you. You feel it just literally going through your energy centers, through your body, and sometimes lingering in one of them. And you know that you are receiving some kind of vibrational shift, whether it's a sound healing from them, whether it's a vibrational upgrade. There is something incredibly deep going on when you share time with whales. And when I'm running my membership, the Pride, it's all about animal wisdom. Every single month, a different species comes forward to share with the members, and they volunteer. I will understand who that species is that wishes to communicate with members with a message by seeing them a lot, literally with my real eyes or with my third eye, or they cross my path. There'll be a way that they keep reaching out to me. And then I'll know, okay, it's you. And sometimes two species want to come to the Pride members, and then they negotiate, and one will be clearer or more persistent than the other. And I say, okay, it's you. All right. And these animals, they come and it feels very, very timely with the messages that they're sharing, that it's what people need to hear. It really touches people that a different species will come with something that's so timely for them personally, and that they've also been seeing a lot of this species. And they come with these messages, they communicate with all of the members. And yet what's also incredibly special is that, there are members all over the world. So where I'm based in London in the UK, is my time zone is not necessarily going to work for somebody that's based in New Zealand or Australia. So those members they tend to listen to the replays because they don't want to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning, and I completely get that. So they listen to the replays. And then people tell me, it's just as powerful and it's just as timely for me, and it's just had the most amazing communication. And then as we go through the different months, and so of course 12 different species come to us over the year, and we've now been running for 6 years, and we have the most amazing community of people, global community, and men and women in different ages. It's really, really interesting to see there are people that will go and revisit a species from like 3 years ago. And because they have changed, they have grown as a person, they've evolved, their life is different to how it was 3 years ago. When they listen to this species again, listen to the replay, they have a completely different experience that's deeper, more powerful, more meaningful, and more perfect for where they are at that time. So it's an ever-evolving cycle of life, essentially, where all of these species are coming to us, and yet we can also go back to them at any time. Some will come and teach about stillness, the power of stillness. Others will communicate about the power of community and really looking after your herd, and others will wish to lift us up and take us on flight and talk about the importance of the flock and your partner, and being together is stronger than being on your own. So every species has a different message, and what's really powerful as well is that they can communicate. So many of the things they're communicating are themes that lots of different members receive. And then underneath those overarching themes are the individual messages that people receive for them personally. So everybody gets to practice their communication. It's often verified when we do our sharing session after the communication. And it's very different to other communities, other memberships, what's out there, because it's completely non-linear, which is how I find that animals really wish to communicate with us now. Since I started this work 20 years ago, it's really, really evolved, and I feel that my work has really evolved. It started out very much with, I'm going to communicate with a cat for a client, I'm going to communicate with a dog and see what's going on with them. But now I'm really moving into the consciousness of animals, the bigger messages that they have, the way that animals really want to connect with humans and to support them during the challenges that the animal kingdom understand really clearly. They understand the challenges that's going on with the planet, and they also feel the energy of the human beings feeling scattered and discordant, and a disparity with who we are truly as our true selves, because of other outside factors, the politics, the cost of things, and everything else that's going on around the world. And yet they can support us with all of this, and all we have to do as a human being is to enter into a loving heart space and listen. Just get quiet, get into a loving heart space and listen. And so one of the aspects of my work with the Pride is I really, really love this, because so many people, not everybody can go on a wild animal retreat, but they can join a membership, and where they don't have to travel and they can be anywhere in the world. And yet they are able to have these incredible experiences with different species, and lots of different species, of the land, of the water, of the air, every single species. No one is excluded. We're completely open to the whole diversity of life,
Would you say that no matter how we communicate with the animal, there are so many levels on which we can receive the messages. So it doesn't matter if someone is skilled animal communicator or just at the beginning, because we all get the message that we are ready for, or just what we need to hear at that particular moment, right?
Yeah, exactly. And this is something that we already have. This, intuition isn't the opposite of intelligence. It's another form of intelligence. So for me, animal communication has never been about becoming more psychic. It's actually about becoming more available to what's already there. So the biggest challenge isn't learning to receive information. It's learning to get out of our own way, out of our own mind. And it's actually much simpler than a lot of people feel. So complete beginners can do this. It's about becoming quieter. And I've noticed the quieter I can become, the more I can hear. So I'm not really interested in asking people to believe everything they receive. What I'm interested in is teaching them how to become better listeners and better discerners about what they receive. And then individually, you will receive what is meant for you. And that is perfect. And the worst thing that we can do, of course, is compare ourselves to anyone else, because we're all different stages in our life, in our life experiences from a child to now, and how busy our life is, how quiet it can be, how much time we have to sit in stillness. And it's not even necessarily about meditating. It's really about bringing more stillness and silence into our lives so that listening becomes easier.
It reminded me one animal that you met, and it's manta ray. When you talk about stillness, it reminded me manta ray, because these are so noblest animals. Could you talk a little bit about manta ray and they bring about their wisdom, whatever?
Yes, manta ray. Manta ray is my partner's favorite ocean species. And in fact, I'm holding a retreat in Indonesia this November. And there is one place left. One place left. If anyone is drawn to it, then please check it out on my website. Where we're going to, I have a classic yacht, and we are sailing around Raja Ampat, which is, it's the Amazon of the oceans. It's got the most marine biodiversity on the planet. And manta rays are one of the species that we are definitely going to be able to encounter. And whenever I've encountered them before, what they teach us is it's flow. It's all about grace and flow with them. There's no struggle. It's all about ease. And so all of us could be able to, would be able to embrace that if we just think about manta ray, maybe watch a little bit of a video of manta ray or have a picture of them, and just try to imagine and put ourselves into the body of a manta ray in the ocean, and just imagine ourselves gliding around. It's so effortless, and yet they can move so fast if they wish to. They are known as the ballerinas of the ocean world. And so, yeah, if you ever need to feel calm and embrace more flow in your life, communicate with manta ray, and they will get you there straight away. They're very, very powerful animals. But I also feel like there's another aspect of them that not everybody is aware of. When I look at them, I don't just see them with my eyes, I look at them energetically. And so what I've witnessed, and it'd be interesting to see if it happens again in Raja Ampat, is that there is this point in the center of a manta ray when you're looking at them. They're dark on the top and they're light underneath. And they all have their own individual patterns. So they all have their own sort of unique fingerprint, which is how everybody and recognize them and name them and know that this is a manta ray they've seen before and that is a new one. But I see in the center of the top of their body, when I look with my third eye, I see there's like a communication channel that goes up. It's like a beam that goes up, and it goes up to the cosmos. And then the cosmos brings this information down to the manta ray. What the information is, I do not know. What happens with the information, I do not know. But I do feel intuitively that it is important for both aspects, and that the manta ray almost like moves this information around through the ocean, whether it is trying to help the ocean, whether aspects of the cosmos are receiving information through the water, because the water just recycles around the whole planet. You know, the water that the manta ray swims in is the same water that we shower in, or that we drink. Everything just keeps getting recycled, which is really cool when you think about it. Yeah, so manta rays are amazing. I feel they are very, very high vibrational beings, like the dolphins, like the whales. And if anyone gets the opportunity to ethically swim with them, snorkeling with them on the surface, then I highly recommend it. And if anybody wishes to join me in Indonesia in November, then you're very, very welcome. Reach out to me.
Oh, yeah, thank you. When you talk about manta ray, I feel deep presence, very deep presence. Like, it's hard to describe, but it's like the space is filled with the presence. And I would say that very similar it is with pangolin, which is ancient animal that many people do not know. They usually misunderstand it as what is the animal? Armadillo? I think armadillo.
Armadillo,
Yeah, people usually mistaken pangolins for armadillo. What I observe. Could you talk about pangolinos, because I know that you also have experience with this beautiful creature.
Yes, you know, the pangolin did come to the Pride and communicate. And I've created with the animal kingdom and hosted the Conversations with Nature World Summit. And I invited one of the co-chairs of the African Pangolin Working Group to be a speaker in one of those summits. And so I learned from her a little bit about them. And, you know, that they are the most trafficked animal on the planet, that there is this belief in Asia that their scales can be used for virility, and they are taken for that, they're captured for that. And they really are ancient beings walking on the planet. They're like miniature dinosaurs, you know, they've been here so long. They're bipedal, so they just walk on two legs, and then they have a long tail for balance. And they're nocturnal. And when you're with them, you just know that you're with a really ancient, wise being. They're sensitive, and their only form of defense is to roll into a ball. That's who they are. They will roll into a ball, which means that people that want to hunt them and take them for trafficking can just pick them up and take them. They have no other form of defense. But there's incredible documentary out called Cooley's Journey, which the African Pangolin Working Group did in conjunction with the documentary makers that brought out the my octopus teacher, which I highly recommend everybody sees. It's really informative and really, really touching. In fact, to have an opportunity to go and spend time maybe with pangolins next year. I had a big conversation with the African Pangolin Working Group about whether this would be an ethical thing to do, because I'm taking a group on a wild retreat in Namibia next year. I'm going to be releasing seats to that in about a week's time, just to 10 people, so it's really intimate. And one of the things we can do is we can go to the Africat Foundation and we can track pangolins. And so I wanted to know all about that and what they did and whether it was ethical, and then discuss that with the African Pangolin Working Group, because it's really important to me. If I am bringing groups to have encounters with animals, they have to be ethical. We mustn't impact them in a negative way. If there's any chance of that, I want us just to move away, walk away. We're not about that. We're about ethical encounters, communicating with reverence, and learning about conservation in ways that we might be able to serve the animal kingdom and more on a larger scale the planet. You know, how can we help so that everything we do is reciprocal, because we receive so much all the time. But after talking to Africat Foundation, after talking to the African Pangolin Working Group, there is an opportunity that we can go out on a night encounter where we will walk and spend probably 3, 4, maybe 5 minutes with a pangolin, without taking photos, with red light, just to see them in the wild, just to have that energetic connection briefly, will be the most amazing experience for me and for everybody, as long as it's ethical.
Yeah, thank you for saying that, because I think it's very important, if we go to wilderness, that it's ethical.
Yeah.
That it's not photography hunt or swim hunt or whatever people kind of like, oh, I want to see the animal, I want to take as many pictures, because if it's not on the Instagram, it didn't happen, you know, and all this stuff. So thank you for saying that it needs to be ethical.
Yeah. And I think the further I've traveled into wild places, and I've been very privileged to be able to do this since 2014. The less separate I felt from nature, the more I do this. You know, I used to go into the wilderness kind of looking for extraordinary encounters with animals. But now I go listening for what the whole landscape is saying. So the wilderness, it isn't somewhere we go to find ourselves. I feel it's somewhere we go to remember who we are. And that's way more powerful, and it's actually, that is one of the messages that the whales talk about all the time. They say, know who you are, because they know that once we know who we truly are, that we will be able to live our lives with much more ease and much more strength and much more courage, and we'll be able to navigate much more easily. The wilderness is, I feel, really important for us. We can be so in our concrete boxes, you know, and traveling in our tin cans from A to B, and forget the most important thing is that we are part of nature. And when we really embrace that, when we immerse ourselves into the wilderness, we remember that, and we can bring that home, and that changes our lives, and then has the ripple effect, of course, out to our immediate families, our community, and those that we speak to about our new perception of our reality and our experiences with the wild. So, yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for what you said. Unfortunately, our time is up. So, is there any particular animal that would enter our discussion and want to share some words, or do you have some last words that you would like to share?
Well, as soon as you asked that question, I saw elephant. So elephant is here to share. We know that you are beings of love, and so are we. We are emotional beings like you. We love our family. We love our young. We walk peacefully with ease and grace, taking what we need, not overtaking. And we keep moving, and we're walking these lines of energy across the planet for all of us, not just us, but for all of us. And we invite you to walk with your own energy across the planet, lightly, in reverence and awe, with curiosity in your heart, and sharing your love out to all beings that you embrace whenever you encounter them. And we honor you for that, and we honor you for where you are, and we will always honor you because you are our family too.
Thank you. Thank you. It was beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you, Elephant.
Thank you, Pea, for your time.
Thank you so much. Thank you for embracing animal communication and sharing it more widely. I really do appreciate it. And if anyone wants to reach out to me, just go to my website, animalthoughts.com.
Yeah, the link will be
let's get in touch.
Okay, perfect. The links will be below the video. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Much love.